Hello, BUS 1430, Desktop Publishing, Presentation and Application. Hopefully everybody's well. We will be starting our Adobe InDesign. We will be starting our Adobe InDesign and so forth. So I'm giving you a highlight of what to expect and so forth. Just going to highlight once again, we have sessions, virtual sessions on Wednesdays, 5 o'clock to 7 p.m. Delighted to come. We have them on Thursdays, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Delight to have you to discuss information, questions, and or give examples. And with that said, if you're unable to make those sessions, we can schedule a personal session to go over information. But please give me a heads up. Give me information so we can have a coordinated schedule to make that happen. So now I'm using the student view to go into the learning unit. So when I go in the learning unit, it's going to give me some information on what we should be doing and so forth. We're at unit 8 and it's domain 1, working in the design industry. Notice your due dates. Notice your due dates. Sometimes they will change, but notice your due dates. Then it will say to complete this learning unit, you will need to read your design industry. It's an e-textbook. It's an e-textbook, and I will show you that. Be sure to always save information regardless if it tells you to save or not save at the end of assignment or exercise. So in the unit, you will have domain 1. You will complete the work in the design industry. You will have a pre-assessment. Lesson 1 covers like your purpose, audience, communications, copyright, permissions, and license. You have your lessons 2, key terminology and basic design principles. And this is information that you will still be completing in your lessons 1, purpose, audience, communications, copyright, permissions, licensing, introduction to design, how to study for the exam, determine the relevant content, communication techniques, create briefs and file storage, basic project management content using the third-party content, stock images and vector graph using likeness. Your lesson 2, terminology and basic principles, publication terminology, color creation, multi-page layout, common design techniques, common typographic adjustments, common design principles, and common design terms. You will have your discussion board, and your discussion board will say, read this chapter, which include all of this information that I just read, and you will give 2 concepts and explain them, and using 4 paragraphs, upload them. Remember 2 responses on each one of them. So when I click on working, okay, so here is my information that repeats itself again. Okay, so you can navigate through the pages, or you can navigate using Summarize Dropbox. So I'm going to use the pages. So here you will click to launch your discussion board and so forth, and it will say discuss at least 2 concepts learned within the domain 1, working in the design with at least 1 paragraph. Be sure to complete 2 response posts. Here is your Dropbox. This would actually be a fill in the blank document. It may have several pages to it, so you will fill it in, download it, save it. Save it as a PDF file, and then you will come back and upload the information in this area, and then you will have your lesson 2. Even though domain 1, lesson 2, and it will have that same profiling information, and you will upload the information too for grading. So for me to get into my InDesign 2021 Geometrics, everybody should be able to click on this link. Everybody should have an actual account. You would have an account, so your account will consist of your Savannah Tech email address, that's your username, and your password. Your password should be your student ID unless you've changed it. It should be your student ID. And when you put that in, mine is already in, and it's going to take me straight to G Metrics. So we're going to sign in. And it goes straight to Gmetrics, and this is your InDesign. So I started the course already, but it gives you the dashboard, it gives you tests and so forth, new, save, complete, and so forth. So your courses, book, study guide, and redeem a code. Your code should already be added because I went on the back end and I added it. So I'm going to click on my design. So here what it looks like, it says your InDesign glossary. So you have some flashcard, memory games, and quizzes and so forth. And I'll have to make sure I get that situated. But this is your terminology and so forth. You can look at that and so forth because you will have that information that will be needed in that fill in the blank. Okay, here is your student workbook. So this is your actual book. It has 109 pages. And so you can download the book if you choose to, print the book out if you choose to, and so forth. And you can go through it and look at how the information is organized. It tells you about your introduction, domain 1, lesson 1. It has domain 1, lesson 2, domain 2, lesson 1. Okay, domain 2, lesson 2, and it goes through that particular format for your table of contents. And then as we scroll down a little more, it goes into the book, gives you an introduction of best practices using LearnKey online training. Very good information and so forth for you to read. I don't want to take too much of time, but it says our institutional technology. Each course is independently created based on the manufacturer's standards objectives for which the course was developed. We ensure that the subject matter is up to date and relevant. We examine the needs of each student in creating training is both interesting, effective. LearnKey training provides the auditory. You got some visual, you got some kinetics. You have learning materials to fit diverse learning style. So it goes into course training model. You got a pre-assessment, then you will have some video training sessions, and then you will have some exercises that I believe that's in your training labs that will go step by step. See, the labs are interactive activities that simulate and situations presented in the training video. Step-by-step instructions, live demonstrations are provided. You got a post assessment and then your workbook. So here's the information using this workbook as a student. Be sure to read the information because it's going to be valuable to you. It's going to be valuable and guide you in what you should be doing. And if not, attend a virtual session and we can go over this information as well too. Here's your skills assessment and so forth. That is a checklist and say, hey, rate your skills on the following. 1 being I need some improvement, and 5 being excellent. And so you go through and you click on whichever one. You see how I'm clicking, and you go down and it keeps your information. Okay, then you still got more assessments. And then here's your 2021 InDesign video times. It gives you how long the videos is for each of them. That it talks about purpose, audience, communications, copyright, permissions, and licenses. So it's 15 minutes and 48 seconds. The key terminology and basic design principle is 19 minutes and 29 seconds for a total of 35 minutes and 17 seconds. So it gives you that domain 2 is 37:28. Domain 3 is 18:19. Domain 4 is 52:40. And domain 5 is 13:12. That's your videos and so forth. That does not include your reading, but that's your videos. Here's your full in the blank. It's actually that you will be completing and so forth. And this is still determine relevant content. This is still a part of your fill in the blank information that you're going to do for me and save the upload, your communication techniques that you will complete and so forth for me, and define the following. Here's your terminology and so forth that comes out that you will be needing to, what's your wireframe, your iteration, your project scope, and so forth, and your basic project concepts, basic project management concepts and so forth, and you will do your step-by-step completion, filling the blanks and so forth, and then using your third-party content. And then it goes into steps for your completion, match the symbols to the license and so forth. So you're doing the matching game, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's your information over there. Using your third-party content, what does CC stand for? What does BY? That's still all in your terminology and so forth and within the reading in this book. Using likenesses, here's still the information where you are to read and continue finding the InDesign 2021 Domain 1 Lesson 2. And it goes through that same profiles again, fill in the blank, publication terminology, you got color creations, you got multi-page layouts, common design techniques, you have common typographic adjustments, common photographic terms, and then it goes to domain lesson 1. So that's your workbook. This is your workbook that you are going through, okay? This is the workbook, okay? So from there, you can actually do your supporting files. Here's your supporting files. You can download your supporting files. So once you download it, it downloads here. And then we're going to open it up and then we will see what's in there. And I'm understanding you guys don't need the software, but that being said, some of the files in there, if we was doing a project outside of this software, these will be some of the files that you will need to upload and so forth. So I'm going to open it up. Remember, if it's a zipper in the middle of it, that means it needs to be extracted. It needs to be extracted. So I open the information up. It says you got some glossaries in there. You got some student work. So let's open it up and see. The glossary. This is your glossary and so forth. See how many pages is in here. Okay, so we have 4 pages of glossary. You can look at that. Okay, then you have your student actually workbook and so forth that I downloaded as well already. And that's what you fill out, complete for me. Okay, but then here is your projects information for your domain 1s, and that's your newsletter. So I don't think we will use it, but I will definitely double check. So making sure all is well. That's your domains and so forth information. Domain 2, 3, 4, 5, and images and so forth. That's what you can download. So I click on my domain 1, working in design industry. So here, that's you do a pre-assessment. So you do your pre-assessment and you, what an example of a demographic. And then you will answer whichever one, children, project, time, money. So, and then you can go to the next. Then it says, what's the process color used for CMYK? Choose 4 answers. This is just the beginning of it. So I'm going to choose some information and so forth. And we will choose, and it says choose 4 answers. Okay, so I'm going to choose one more. Ginger, black, cyan. I need to have, okay. So I go to next. Then it says, what are 2 ways to obtain proper permission for copyright materials? So, and okay, I'm just choosing answers, not saying right, wrong, or indifferent. So this is a pretest. Which is the act of unauthorized changes to a project scope? What is it? What is it? Unauthorized. So we just choosing information and just choosing. Serif fonts are often used for screen-based documents. Okay, so your assessment might be a little different. What's the best describe stock images? Okay, vector-based images, images that are available for use with a license, images that a company has taken, images that's available for free. Okay, I am just choosing. So it says for my answers, I got my answers. Okay, so answer. Got them all. So let's see. It says finish and it will score you and see it says, hey, Cynthia, you did 3 questions correct out of the 6, but I've taken it several times. So it says I chose those 2 demographic project terms, so you can look at that information or you can retake it and so forth. That's just to give you an idea how that actually operates. So and then here is the next thing. You click on your video and it's going to go over these lessons. How to study. Okay, that's just a highlight of what it's going to cover, how to study for the exam. Then it's going to determine the relevant content, identify requirements, communication techniques, create briefs and file storage, basic project management concept using third-party content, stock images, and vector graphs. So, and once you finish that, you click on review your reports and so forth. So I'm going to go back over here and this is your video. And this is your fill in the blank information that's in that workbook that you can start doing here. Please fill in the blank. Are any limitations that may affect the project is scheduled? Okay, then you input your information there. Then you can go to skip, go to next, and see input your answer. When reading a Creative Common license, ND stands for put your answer, the meaning, and so forth. So I can be finished with that. So I can go back. Here's how I can go back. I can exit, leave the course, go back in. So just showing you how you can go back in and start navigating. That's my one. Videos, fill in the blank information. Here's a lab. Here is a lab. So I'm going to resume because I have started the lab. Drag and drop the correct audience demographic to the gray box next to the intended graph. Okay. Drag and drop the correct audience demographic to the gray box next to its intended graphs. Okay, so let's see. So you can click on hint, drag the children to the cartoon cat images, elders, see that? Seniors to the dentures images, teenagers to the smartphone. So you can do here, that's what it's saying, drop it there. Okay, here is professional. This is what it's telling you to do. And then you submit. But it says incorrect. Okay, a big incorrect. Drag and drop. So reset. You can go back and reset, even though the hint says okay, let me see if I can get this right. Did I not put it on there? Okay. Okay. Children as it goes. Okay, I got to check that because that's correct when we drag and drop them for sure. Okay, did I not do the right drag and drop? But okay, so we will go to the next because I want to see what it does. Your answer is not correct. To drag and drop your audience to the gray box is not next to its intended graph. Okay. Okay. I just want to see what this does. Okay. Okay, so go to next. Drag and drop the correct project terms to, okay, so that means you have to know these definitions, then you drag and drop them as well too. But that's just bad. So you go back to your course. You can leave the course. Okay, enter back in and so forth. So that's your working in the lab, but here's the assessment because I think I start the assessment as well too. And then what are 3 questions to answer before beginning a project? So remember the 3 questions and then you go from there. You can look at your questions and it gives you a list. So you will actually have 20 questions and you can save and exit and so forth. Save and exit even though we didn't do anything. And then it goes into lesson 1 for your project. Okay. So here is your actual documents that you will be filling out that will be turned in for grading. 9 different ones. And then your 2 is the same format. Okay, so it's got it broke down that you're to go in and do this information that you can see that download it from there. and then you save it, and then you open it up and you should be able to fill it in, or you can just type your answer and then download it, and it should do the same thing with your answer. And make sure you save it, or you can do your print. Okay, did it keep my answer? I want to see where I type my answer. So you can print it as well too, and write your answers and go back and type it in. Save as a PDF, printer, and so forth. 9 different pages. So just giving you a review, an idea of what to expect in this Adobe session and so forth. Okay, and then next you go off to project 2. You will start your test again, pre-test, and then from there it will go into project setup and interface pre-assessment. Domain 2, project setup and interface video. Domain 2, lesson 1, fill in the blank. Domain 2, lesson 2, fill in the blank. Domain 2, project setup and interface exercise in the lab. Domain 2, project setup and interface post assessment. And then you have your projects 1, and then you have your projects 2, and then off to 3. So with that being said, hopefully that will be helpful to you guys. If you need any help, remember, you can always email Attend a Virtue Session on Wednesdays 5 to 7 p.m. on Thursdays 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And with that being said, if you need a personal, we can potentially set up a personal. Be well and have a great day.